Hello, my name is Emma if you don't know me already, and this is the third and final part of my market series. I am quickly losing sunlight today, so let's see if we can get this filmed before the sun sets. Okay, so market supplies. I know it can feel very overwhelming to think about doing a market because there's so many different little things you need, so I'm gonna try to break this down in a very simple way, I guess, so that it's easy to like categorize in your brain. It's not like a million different things, it's like, you know, groups of things. And I have some notes on my iPad, so if I'm looking down, that's why. So that being said, there are three main categories of things you need to think about when doing a market. 1, booth setup. Everything from the table to the display stands. You need a place to put your stuff. It's like the structure and interior design of your little portable shop. 2, obviously you need items to sell. That is the main thing. And then 3, how are people gonna buy it? How are they gonna pay for it? Let's start out with number 1, booth setup. We're gonna work from the foundations going up. So obviously we need a table. Sometimes markets will provide you with a table. Other times you need to bring your own, or they'll give you the option to rent a table for a small additional fee. It's also important to consider how big your table is. So if you're not supplying your own and the market's supplying to you, ask how much space you have, because that's very important. The next item is a tent. This is my little tent. This only applies to outdoor markets. And again, sometimes you might need to supply your own, or the market might just provide you one or provide it for a small fee. Because you'll definitely want a tent if it ends up raining, but also if it's just really sunny, you'll probably want a tent for coverage too. Moving up, so you have your table. Next, the first thing you want to put on your table is probably a tablecloth and maybe a runner. Maybe you'll even want to get a personalized runner with your store logo on it. That's something I want to do eventually, but it's cost money. And this is where you can already start thinking about branding and your company aesthetic and vibe. Do you want a certain color or pattern? Think about the aesthetic as you're starting to build it. For me, I have a big white tablecloth, and this one's actually nice because it's full length in the front, but then it has a cutout on the back so I can easily store things under my table. I'll post a picture of it here, and I'll also include links below if you wanna get it for yourself. And then on top of that, I have this green runner, which goes long ways. I'm definitely going for like an earthy nature vibe for my booth. Next up, we have the display stands. So essentially, how do you want to display your items, the things you're selling, to the customers? I don't know why I just explained a display stand to you. I'm sure you know what a display stand is. But for me, when I was picking out the ones I wanted to buy, I thought of 3 main things. So the most important thing to think about when getting a display stand is its functionality. Does it serve the purpose you want it to? Will it correctly display whatever it is you're displaying? Does it have the correct height either between hooks or that the shelves are spaced apart properly, not too far apart, not too close? Make sure you think about the measurements. The second thing I think about is the aesthetic of it. Again, we're going back to branding. You want people to feel the vibe of you right away. So I wanted something that was earthy and bright, so I knew I wanted to go with kind of like wood, bamboo kind of items. And then the third thing I think about, which is also very important, is portability. Easy to get from your home or wherever you store it to the venue. Is it going to be easy to assemble and disassemble? Will it also not break if you assemble and disassemble it multiple times? So let me show you what I got. So I actually haven't unpacked most of my things from the last market that's in here, so let me show you what I got. For display stands, I have this giant pegboard. It has little feet as well as a bunch of metal hooks to go on it. You can place them wherever you want, as well as these feet, which just pop right on here, and then it stands up. This came in a set of 2, which is really nice, and I ended up using both. The next item that I got is this display stand, which again has some wooden feet, has 2 of them. I actually didn't use this past event. It's a little bit dirty when I got it. There's like some blue ink, I don't know if you can see this, on it when I bought it. So I decided not to use it. It also didn't work super well with what I was selling, but this is not finished, it's just raw wood, and so I went to paint this, and then I'm gonna be adding some stationery to my store, some stickers and bookmarks, etc. And so I'm gonna use this to display my stationery moving forward, and I think it'll look a lot better when it's painted as well. The next display stand I have is a necklace stand, and it has just a very simple little piece you put in the back, and then it sits up like that. And then you can put as many necklaces on there as you want. I had 3 necklaces on there and it worked really well. And people came up and they noticed it, and so I recommend this. And then the last stand I got is this little earring or keychain display stand. I ended up using it for ornaments and it worked really well. It's nice and stable. You can also easily pop off this bottom part if you want. And those are all the display stands that I have at the moment, which works well for me because I've just been selling earrings, keychains, phone charms, and then I did ornaments. But I'll be adding on some stationery and other things in 2025, which I'm very excited for. And now is the time you can move into more details, into more of the specific branding for your company. And this is where we're talking about signs. Your store sign, having good branding. So this is mine. I literally just printed it out on cardstock on my printer, and then I got this little stand off Amazon to display it. And then to give people a little more idea of my brand, I also printed out this piece of paper which just has my logo and a bit about my store. It's the same information you'll find on my website. And on both these as well, I have my website and my socials on them as well because that's important. We gotta let people know who we are and where to find us. And then there's also some more functional parts of branding as well, which includes, you know, store prices, letting people know how much things are. So some of these I would tape on my display stands. So for example, on my pegboard, I would tape this up at the top for keychains 38 and have keychains over here. And then another one, I have my sterling silver necklaces and also earrings. So I popped those on here as well. And then I thought about getting some more formal sign stands, but instead I just printed it out and then just folded the paper in half. And honestly, it worked super well to just have these on the table. So that's a very easy DIY, basically free as long as you have the paper, way to make some signs. With this as well, think about any accessories you might want on your booth. So for example, I got a little mirror, there's the camera, that I could put on my table because I have jewelry and I want people to be able to hold the jewelry up to their ears and be able to see what it might look like on them. And then of course you'll want either business cards and or stickers that just let people know who you are, where to find you. So if they walk by your booth and they're interested, but they don't purchase something, then you can hand them something to be like, well, here, if you decide later, this is where you can find me. So that is a quick summary of the booth setup you'll need. It'll obviously will vary a lot depending on the items you're selling and what you need, but those are kind of a general overview of things. Hi, honey. And then of course, number 2 is the items. What are you selling? You need to make sure you have plenty of stock. For example, I sell earrings, such as these earrings. And not only do you need to buy the earrings, but you also have to consider what do you want to display them on. So I made little backing cards. And I also have phone charms as well. And so we have little backing charms for that. You might want little tags if you have other items. And then in addition to your items, you also need a way for people to then safely and easily take it home with them. So what I have for packaging are 2 options. I have just glassine bags. These also work really well for stickers and stationery, but they're perfect size to save someone buys a phone charm. Pop it in there and then it's easy to take away, and it also won't, you know, I think it's a little nicer than just giving the phone charm like this. You could totally just give the phone charm like this, but I like putting it in there. I feel like it just is a little nicer. And then I also have little boxes that I can assemble. I always keep them flat because it's just much easier to travel with them. And then I have some just natural colored tissue paper that I can then wrap items up with as well. And lastly, you want to have some kind of bag for people. So this is my little bag. It's a teeny little gift bag that I got. You can buy bags with your branding on it, but it just tends to be more expensive. But the way that I kind of DIY is I just print out some stickers on my thermal printer and then stuck it on, and that's that. The hardest part about a small business is getting the word out there, so anything you can do to let the world know about you and your business is very helpful. The last thing when it comes to packaging, I think it's pretty important to think about sustainability. So all of my packaging, it's all paper-based, and so everything's completely recyclable. Even when I mail things, my mailers are compostable. So while it might seem tempting to get something that's a little cheaper and plastic, I feel like it's worth just spending a little extra more if you can to get the sustainable version of it. If we can, you know, do some small things to help our planet, why wouldn't we, you know? And the sun is setting, it is getting dark, but we just have one more little thing to talk about. So I'm gonna push on and hope the lighting is not too terrible. So the last thing is, how are people gonna pay you? Are you gonna do card and cash? I personally chose to go cashless. There's obviously small, you know, credit card fees and stuff you have to pay when you're accepting cards, but I just found the convenience of it to be worth it than having to worry about cash and doing change and also just worrying about carrying big chunks of cash on me. So I use Shopify for my website, and so I chose to use them for my point of service device as well. This is my little device. People can tap or they can insert their cards. It takes all major credit cards as well as Apple Pay and Google Pay. I also personally like it because it syncs my inventory as well as just keeps all of my orders and financial stuff within one platform, and also collects taxes, which is important because I collect sales taxes, I pay them. I don't understand much beyond that, so I'm glad that I have Shopify to help me figure all of that out. But also, you don't need something super fancy to be able to sell in person either. You can use Venmo, you can use PayPal. There's also, it's cool on the iPhones, you can actually have people tap their cards and pay, like through Apple Pay or through your credit card right on your device. Now you can set it up. I don't know a whole lot about that, I don't do it, but it's possible. So there's a lot of ways that you can sell in person without needing fancy devices or fancy subscriptions. And now I'm actually gonna add on an informal fourth category, and that is caring for your body. A lot of the times these events will last, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and you wanna make sure they're taking care of yourself. So make sure you have plenty of water and snacks, or they're able to like get food delivered during the event. And then if you're like me and you struggle with some chronic health and chronic pain issues, for me, a mistake that I made is I didn't bring anything to sit down with. I have very bad arthritis like a middle-aged woman, even though I'm young. And so I would recommend having some kind of easily transportable stool or chair or something, because it was just something that didn't occur to me till I was there and I was like, I'm gonna be in pain. And then it's just so much harder to interact with people when you're in pain and you're trying to mask and pretend like you're not in pain. So just to make the event better for yourself, make sure you're doing whatever you need to be comfortable. Which also includes if it's like outside and it's cold, take hand warmers. If it's hot outside, maybe you take like a little fan. Don't forget that you have to like also take care of this, because for us small businesses, we a lot of the time are a one-person show, so we gotta take care of ourselves, because otherwise if we crack, our business cracks. So that seemed kind of sad. I don't want to end on that note. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. I'm going to put all the links for all the stuff I have down in the description. So if you want to go ahead and skip some research and just buy the stuff that I have because you like it and that'll work well for you, go for it. I love that. Thank you so much for coming along on this little market series with me. I hope it was helpful. I'm very excited to do more markets in the future. I gotta apply for them and hopefully get into some. I believe in myself, I believe in you, and I hope you have a really great day after this, whatever that consists of. And that, my friends, is gonna be the end of the video. Do something good for yourself today, okay?